Hello, this is Professor Andrew Ray Pena, and this is my rationalization of the items that I shared. Let's start with number 1. How many features are needed to identify an English consonant? A1, B2, C3, D4. The answer is 4 because it involves voicing, aspiration, place of articulation, and manner of articulation. Number 2, which of the following words has the T sound? A, nature, B, teen, C, nation, D, blunt. So notice in my pronunciation, the answer is D, blunt. Number 3, which of the following words contains a liquid? A, come, B, calm, C, camel, D, radar. A liquid in English is the L sound, so it's C, camel. Number 4, which of the following phones is not voiced? A, E, B, C, D, Z. Notice, class, that the presence of the brackets mean that we are talking about the sound and not the letter. So the phone that is not voiced is B. Okay, where is the tongue placed in producing the ng phone? That symbol there is ng. A, between the upper and lower teeth. B, at the piece of flesh behind the upper teeth. C, at the velum. D, at the palate. So the answer is C, at the velum, because the back of your tongue touches the velum when you pronounce the ng sound. Number 6, which of the following is involved in determining whether or not a phone is voiced? A, glottis, B, vocal cord, C, tongue, D, uvula. The answer is B, vocal cords. When the vocal cords vibrate when producing a phone, the phone is considered voiced. When the vocal cords do not vibrate, the phone is considered voiceless. How many distinct consonants are there in the word apple? Think more carefully on this one. The answer is C, 3. It includes the glottal. The is a consonant. Then you have the P, and then you have the L. Okay? Number 8. How many distinct plosives are there in the word bombing? A1, B2, C3, D0. The answer is 1. B. B is a plosive where all air is prevented from passing through the mouth because the lips are completely touching each other. But then when they release, the air goes out. That's why it's called a plosive. Which articulator does roundness refer to? A, lips, B, teeth, C, tongue, D, glottis. The answer is A, lips. When the lips are flat, it's called unrounded. When the lips are rounded, then the phone is considered rounded. Number 10, which of the following principles must a teacher explain clearly to students? A, the letters of the English alphabet involve form, meaning, and function which are creative and dynamic. B, the letters of the English alphabet may not always stand for the sound they usually stand for. C, the combination of sounds and letters of the English alphabet are not arbitrary. D, English orthography is the academic term for spelling. The correct answer is B. The letters of the English alphabet may not always stand for the sound they usually stand for. That's the one that we must clearly explain to students. Letter D is correct, but it's not the one we need to clearly explain to students. Letter C is not entirely true. Letter A, it's not the letters of the English alphabet. It's language that involve form, meaning, and function, which are creative and dynamic. 11. There seems to be no basis for the way words are assigned to objects, events, actions, or qualities. This shows that language is A, dynamic, B, non-changing, C, arbitrary, D, systematic. The answer is arbitrary, C, because there seems to be no basis except in the case of onomatopoeia, but then onomatopoeia, which is based on how hearers hear a sound, it's still arbitrary because different hearers hear sounds differently. Like for the sound of a rooster, in the United States, it's cockle-doodle-doo. In Korea, it's kokleo. In the Philippines, it's tiktilao. So it's still arbitrary. Number 12, which of the following is produced by the articulators forming a small hole through which very little air passes through? A, z, B, b, C, e, D, l. The answer is A, z. When z is pronounced, the tongue and the alveolar ridge touch each other but not completely. They leave a small hole through which very little air passes through. That's why it's called a fricative. Which of the following is not true? A signed word is an example of the form part of language. B. The function of an utterance is the same across all cultures. C. Words do not have meaning in themselves. D. The rules of a language are agreed upon by its speakers. The one that's not true is boy, or B. The function of an utterance is the same across all cultures. Sometimes an utterance could be neutral, positive, or negative depending on the culture. Like, where are you going? Where are you going is neutral in the Philippines, except in among hunter-gatherers, which is a very positive way of showing that you care for a person. You're saying, I want to know where you're going so that when you don't come back at the right time, I know where to look for you. So it's very positive. But in other places like the West, it's very negative because they don't want you to know where you're going. All the others, they are true. A signed word is an example of the form part of language. Words do not have meaning in themselves, they only trigger meaning. The rules of a language are agreed upon by its speakers. That's why it's shared. Which of the following phones involve the tongue when produced? A, D, B, B, P, C, B, D, M. B, C, and D are phones that are produced with just the upper and lower lips. So the answer is A, D, which involves the tongue. 15. Which of the following is true? A. Vowels in English are voiceless. B. All consonants have some amount of air blocked. C. Glides in English are all voiced. D. All affricates have all air released. So the one that's true is B. All consonants have some amount of air blocked. That's the idea of a consonant. Vowels in English are voiced. Glides in English, some of them are voiced, some are voiceless. Affricates don't have all air released. In fact, they start out as a plosive where all air is blocked and released as a fricative where some small amount of air passes through. 16. Which of the following words contains the voiced, unaspirated velar plosive phone? It's velar, so your tongue touches the velum. And it's a plosive. And it's voiced, so it's g, g. A. Caught, B. Locked, C. Cough, D. Log. So the phone, the word with the g sound is D. Log. 17. Which of the following words contains an affricate? A. Seizure, B. Weather, C. Which, D. Closed. An affricate is a plosive released as a fricative. The answer is C. Which. The ch sound. 18. How many distinct phones are there in the word graph? So you have g, r, a, f. G, r, a, f. So it's dog, 4. G, r, a, f. Okay, so the answer is D, 4. Which of the following, number 19, which of the following is false? All English consonants with an audible puff of air are considered plosives or stops. B. In English, all affricates are alveolar. C. All vowels in English have the vocal cords vibrating when produced. D. All glides in English are almost vowels. So the answer is boy. In English, all affricates are alveolar. In fact, the affricates in English are palatal. The tongue touches the palate. All the others are true. 20. Which of the following words contains an affricate? So we said that affricates in English are ch and j. So it's A, school, B, garbage, C, passion, D, apple. The answer is boy, or B, garbage. 21. How many distinct vowels are there in the word feelings? A, 1, B, 2, C, 3, D, 0. The answer is 2. You have E, the long E, and the short E, eh. So it's B, 2. Which of the following words contains an approximant? A, foyer, B, physics, C, bet, D, archer. An approximant is a glide that takes the place usually taken by a consonant. So the answer is A, foyer. The y takes the place usually taken by a consonant. 23. Which of the following contains the voiced, unaspirated, alveolar nasal phone? So the nasals we have in English are and ng. And which of them is the alveolar? It's the n. So which one here has the n? A, dam, B, bank, C, run, D, rung. So the answer is C, run. 24. Which of the following cannot be a vowel? A phone with vocal cords vibrating, B, a voiceless phone, C, a phone with all the air unobstructed, D, a voiced phone. The answer is B, a voiceless phone, because all vowels in English are voiced. Okay? 25. Humans produce billions of sentences. This shows that language is A, dynamic, B, systematic, C, creative, D, shared. The answer is C, creative, because we produce lots of sentences. 26. How many distinct phones are there in the word caught? So A, 6, B, 5, C, 4, D, 3. How many distinct phones? K, A, T. So how many is that? We have 3. D. The answer is D, 3. 27. Which of the following words does not have a... This sound is a... In pedagogy, it's called the soft TH. So which of the following words does not have a... A, pathologist, B, theater, C, cloth, D, wither. So the answer is D, wither. 28. What characteristic is shared by the phones S, Z, V, and S? A, vibration of the vocal cords, B, a small opening through which very little air passes through, C, use of the tongue as a mechanism for controlling the passage of air, D, an audible puff of air. So D is not a characteristic at all of any of them. C, use of the tongue as a mechanism for controlling the passage of air. That's not true for the and the V at least. Vibration of the vocal cords, well, S and don't have the vibration of the vocal cords. So the answer is B, a small opening through which very little air passes through. 29. Which of the following words contains a back vowel? A, pig, B, life, C, luck, D, soon. So the answer is dog, or D, soon. When you pronounce the oo, you pull back your tongue. That's why it's called, the oo is called a back vowel. 30. Which of the following phones is almost like a vowel but not so? A, y, B, oo, C, o, D. So the answer is A, y. You're wondering probably why the y is represented by a J. That's because the International Phonetic Alphabet started in Europe, and in Europe many of the y sounds are represented by the J, like Reykjavik or Sonia, which is pronounced instead of a Y but with a J. Let's now go to phonology. Number one, which of the following can be used to teach Filipino students to differentiate between E and E? So for doing that, we need to have minimal pairs where the difference has only to do with only one place. A, skip and keep. B, sit and set. C, lip and leap. D, sweat and sweet. So A, skip and keep, they're not minimal pairs. So it's not the one that we can use. For B, sit and set, yes, they're minimal pairs, but they don't involve the E and the E. Rather, they involve the E and the E. Now for D, sweat and sweet, yes, they're minimal pairs, but they involve the E and the E. So the answer is C, lip and leap. You have the E and the E. So the answer is C, lip and leap. Number two, what feature is being transferred to the pronunciation of the suffix ed in the following? Walked, blocked, seeped, hopped, clashed, meshed, bragged, rigged, sobbed, robbed, amazed, realized. A, voicing. B, aspiration. C, place of articulation. D, manner of articulation. The answer is voicing. When the last sound of the word is voiceless, the ed also becomes voiceless. K is voiceless, t is also voiceless. But when the last sound is voiced, g or d or z, then the ed is pronounced as voice, which is d. So the answer is A, voicing. Number three, which of the following is an example of epenthesis? A, go and went. B, liquid, liquefy. C, autumn, autumnal. D, judge, judgment. Epenthesis means adding a sound in phonology. So in D, judge, judgment, there's no sound that's added. For letter A, go and went, there's no sound added. In fact, the term for go and went is stem suppletion. For B, liquid, liquefy, there's no sound that's added when we add phi. In fact, what is removed is the d sound. So the answer is C, autumn, autumnal. We added the n sound. Number four, in what kind of environment do phonemes produce contrast? A, double phonemic. B, identical. C, complementary. D, allophonic. The answer is identical. Phonemes produce contrast in identical environments, meaning everything else is the same except the place in which the phonemes are located. Number five, phone X cannot occur in places where phone Y occur and vice versa. This phenomenon is called A, double phonemic. B, identical. C, complementary distribution. D, allophonic. The answer is C, complementary distribution. When Superman is there, Clark Kent is not. When Clark Kent is there, Superman is not. That's complementary distribution. That's the classic illustration that I use. Number six, the syllable process involved in liquid liquefy is A, epenthesis. B, elision. C, metathesis. D, free variation. When you add phi to liquid, you have liquefy. There's a sound that was removed, which is the d. Instead of saying liquid phi, you say liquefy. So the answer is B, elision. Removing a sound is called elision in phonology. Number 7. In which syllable process do phones exchange places? A. Epenthesis. B. Nasal assimilation. C. Metathesis. D. Stem suppletion. The answer is metathesis. C. In English, the and r are allophones of the same underlying phoneme. Also, t and r are allophones of the same underlying phoneme. Therefore, are the and t allophones of the same underlying phoneme in English? A. No. B. Yes. C. Sometimes. D. Indeterminable. The answer is no, they're not. Because you can find a minimal pair in English where the and t produce a change in meaning. Okay, so for example, dent and tent. The change from the to t, from dent to tent, produces a change in meaning. So the and t are not allophones, they are separate phonemes in English. Number 9. A minimal pair shows that two phones are actually two separate phonemes. Which of the following is true? A. The phonemes follow a complementary distribution. B. The two phones may or may not be allophones. C. The two words in the minimal pair had different meanings. D. The minimal pair contains an underspecified phoneme. Well, if a minimal pair shows that two phones are actually two separate phonemes, that means C. The two words in the minimal pair had different meanings. They have to have different meanings when there's a change in sound. Now, phonemes do not follow a complementary distribution. And it's clear in the minimal pair that they are not allophones, they are two separate phonemes. And in the minimal pair, it's no longer an underspecified phoneme, it's already a clear phoneme. Those are two separate phonemes now, as pronounced. So the answer is C. The two words in the minimal pair had different meanings. Number 10. What is the use of minimal pairs in pedagogy? A. To teach students to differentiate phonemes. B. To teach students to differentiate allophones. C. To teach students to differentiate free variation. D. To teach students to differentiate dialectical variation. The answer is A. To teach students to differentiate phonemes. There are phonemes in English that are not found in Filipino, like the Z. And we need to differentiate the Z from the S. And we use phonemes, we use minimal pairs to show that those two phonemes are actually different. Number 11. Which of the following shows that e and are separate phonemes? A. Pine and pen. B. Litter and litter. C. Bitter and bitter. D. Bitter and better. So, notice pine and pen do not involve the e and the eh. Letter B, they're actually the same pronunciation. So it is with letter C, same pronunciation. But D, bitter and better, they involve the e and the eh as separate phonemes. Everything is the same except in the place where the e and the eh are located. So the answer is D, bitter and better. Number 12, which of the following shows that th and th are separate phonemes? A. Thigh and thy. B. Thin and din. C. Breath and breathe. D. Then and thin. Now, then and thin, yes, you have the z and the th there, but you also have the eh and the e. So they're not minimal pairs that can show that th and z are separate phonemes. C. Breath and breathe. Same thing, you have the th and the z, but you have the eh and the e. For letter B, thin and din, you don't have the z there. What you have is the d. So that's not the concern. The correct answer is A, thigh and thy. The change in sound from thigh to thy produced a change in meaning. Notice we do not really care about the spelling. It's not the spelling that we care about, it's the sound. So the answer is A, thigh and thy. For the next three numbers, write on the blank the letter that corresponds to a minimal pair. 13. A, build and built. B, gild and quilt. C, meet and meet. D, smile and smile. Now in letter D, smile and smile, yes, there's a change from S to Z. But smile is not a word, so that's not considered. Okay? For letter C, meet and meet, they're actually the same pronunciation. For B, gild and quilt, they differ in more than one place. But in A, build and built, they're different only in the place where you have the D and the T. So they are minimal pairs. So the answer is A, minimal, build and built. 14. A, recognize and recognize. B, maze and maze. C, blaze and brace. D, ferry and vary. Now in A, you just have a different spelling. You have British and American spelling. They are not minimal pairs. For letter B, they sound the same, maze and maze, although they have a different meaning. They have a different spelling, but it's the sound that's the same. So they're not minimal pairs. Blaze and brace, they differ in more than two words. But dog in D, fairy and vary, they differ only in f and v. So they are minimal pairs. The answer is dog, fairy and vary. Number 15. Dump and doom. A, dump and doom. B, bomb and bum. C, autumn and autumnal. D, economic and economic. What we have in D, there's no change in meaning when the change of sound. This is a free variation. C, autumn and autumnal, they're very different in many places. For A, dump and doom, they're also different in many places. But in B, bomb and bum, they only differ in a and a. So they are minimal pairs. So the answer is B, bomb and bum. Let's now go to morphology. How many morphemes are there in the following words? Number 1, mother, A1, B2, C3, D4. Morphemes are the smallest group of words that have meaning or function. Now in number 1, mother, we need all the words, we need all the sounds in order to produce meaning. So the answer is A1. Number 2, candidate, A1, B2, C3, D4. The answer is also A1 because candidate has only one meaning. It has only one morpheme. The candid there doesn't mean being candid. The date doesn't mean date. You need everything. Candidate. So it's A1. Number 3, broker, A1, B2, C3, D4. So the answer is also just one, broker, because broke doesn't mean anything here, doesn't mean anything here. You need all the sounds. So broker has only one morpheme, so it's A. Number 4, misappropriations, A1, B2, C3, D4. You have miss, appropriate, shun, and s. The answer is D4. Number 5. Which of the following kinds of morphemes does the word reminder not contain? Well, A. Root, B. Derivational, C. Affix, D. Inflectional. Well, it has a root, which is remind. It has a derivational morpheme, which is It has an affix, of course, which is the but it does not have an inflectional morpheme, which is used to fit a word in a sentence. So the answer is D, inflectional. Number 6, which of the following words is not a free morpheme? A. Is, B. S, C. As, D. Us. A free morpheme can be used in a sentence without having to attach to other words or other morphemes. But a bound morpheme cannot exist in a sentence without having to attach to other morphemes. So that one is B, S. Number 7, which of the following is a content word? Number 7, which of the following is a content word? A. His, B. Hat, C. Had, D. Him. A content word has meaning, and these include nouns, verbs, and adjectives, and maybe adverbs. So which one here is a noun, verb, or adjective? The answer is B, hat. The others, these are what we call grammatical words or functional words. They don't really have meaning, they have function. Number 8, in which of the following words did the suffix not produce a change in category? A. Kingdom, B. Wisdom, C. Bravery, D. Strengthen. In D, strength is a noun, strengthen is a verb, so there was a change in category. In C, bravery, brave is an adjective, bravery is a noun, so there was a change in category when you added a suffix. In B, wise is an adjective. When you added the suffix dumb, you have wisdom, you now have a noun. So there were changes in B, C, and D. But in A, king is a noun, kingdom is still a noun, so there was no change in category. The answer is A. Number 9, which of the following words belongs to an open class? A. From, B. Frame, C. To, D. To. An open class is a set of words where you can easily add new words. And these are nouns, verbs, or adjectives. Maybe even adverbs. But for functional words, it's a closed class. You cannot simply add new words. And so the answer is B, frame. Frame is a noun and it belongs to an open class. Number 10, which of the following words is a complex word? A complex word is a word with a derivational affix. A. Disturbed, B. Distribute, C. Distraught, D. Disorient. Now, in A, B, and C, the dis do not mean anything, but in D, this means not. So it's a real prefix and it's an affix. It's a prefix, and prefixes are derivational affixes. So the answer is D, disorient. Number 11. Which of the following suffixes when added to a stem will prevent other suffixes from being added? A. Shun, B. Ism, C. Eyes, D. Est. The answer is D. Est. Est is an inflectional morpheme. It's an inflectional suffix, so when you add it to a stem, you can no longer add other suffixes. Number 12. Which of the following words has more morphemes than syllables? A. Crispy, B. Aardvark, C. Strengths, D. Weaknesses. The answer is strengths. It has only one syllable, but it has two morphemes, strength and s. So the answer is C, strength. 13. Which word among the following does not have an allomorph of in? A, incompetent, B, impolite, C, important, D, intangible. In A, B, and D, the in, the im, and the in, the ing, the im, and the in, they all mean not. But in C, the im there does not mean not. So the answer is C, important. 14. Which of the following words contains a verb former? A verb former is a suffix that turns a word into a verb. A, eaten, B, strengthened, C, golden, D, 11. In A, the N there signifies past participle. In C, golden, golden is an adjective. D, 11, the N there doesn't mean anything. But in B, strengthen, strength is a noun, strengthen is a verb. So the answer is B, strengthen. 15. Which of the following is a simple word? A simple word has only one root and it doesn't have derivational affixes. So A, airport, B, worthy, C, harmful, D, distinct. A, airport is a compound word. B, worthy is a complex word because you have worth and E. E there is a derivational suffix. C, harmful, the full there is a derivational suffix. So for both B and C, they are complex words. But in D, the dis there doesn't mean anything. Distinct is just one root. So the answer is D, distinct. For the next three numbers, which of the following words does not belong to the group in terms of morphology? 16. A, mother, B, gather, C, keeper, D, bother. The answer is C, keeper, because in A, B, and D, the do not mean anything, but in C, the means somebody who does it. So the answer is C, keeper. 17. A, stronger, B, blackest, C, blower, D, hottest. The answer is C, blower, because the here is a derivational suffix, unlike in A, B, and C, where you have inflectional affixes, inflectional suffixes. 18. A, climber, B, deeper, C, seeker, D, blower. The answer is B, deeper, because the here is comparative, produces the comparative in an adjective. In A, C, and D, the they are derivational suffixes that mean somebody who does something. So the answer is B, deeper. 19. Holiness. A, holiness, B, unbending, C, blacker, D, sweaty. Now for A, you have holiness. It's a complex word because of the derivational affix ness. In B, you have the prefix un, which makes it a complex word. In D, you have sweaty, you have the E, which is also a derivational affix. So you have a complex word. But in C, blacker, the there is comparative. It is something that produces, it's just an inflectional morpheme. Okay, so the answer is C, blacker. 20. What word formation process was used to produce the word edit? A, clipping, B, back formation, C, eponymy, D, acronym. The answer is B, back formation. It came from the word editor. 21. What word formation process was used to produce the word scuba? A, derivation, B, compounding, C, acronym, D, back formation. Scuba used to mean self-contained underwater breathing apparatus, but people forgot the meaning meaning of each word. They now use it as a single word, and so the source is acronym. So the answer is C, acronym. 22. What word formation process was used to produce the word simulcast? Simulcast means simultaneous broadcast. That is A. Blending, B. Eponymy, C. Abbreviation, D. Derivation. When you add two words, two parts of two or more words, you have what you call blending. So the answer is A. Blending. Let's now talk about syntax. Number 1, which of the following is a kernel sentence? A. He ate a delicious cake in the dining room. B. Did they see the movie? C. She talked on the phone while walking. D. We did not see any artichokes in the kitchen. The answer is A. He ate a delicious cake in the dining room because A is simple, declarative, active, and positive. Letter B is a question, so it's not a kernel sentence. She talked on the phone while walking. It's not a simple sentence. Letter D, we did not see any artichokes in the kitchen. It's negative, so it's not a kernel sentence. The answer is A. He ate a delicious cake in the dining room. Which of the following can be produced by a word formation rule? A. Go and went. B. Polite, impolite. C. Lead, leader. D. Sheep, sheep. Well, D. Sheep, sheep has to be explicitly stated. The same thing with A. Go and went. It has to be explicitly stated. Letter B. Polite, impolite is produced by a phonological rule. The answer is C. Lead, leader. When you add it becomes a noun. So it's produced by a word formation rule. The answer is C. Lead, leader. What kind of rules produce kernel sentences? A. Word formation rules. B. Transformation rules. C. Phrase structure rules. D. Lexical formation rules. The answer is C. Phrase structure rules, because these are the ones that produce the phrases that are similar to what our minds have. Number 4. What are the core characteristics of kernel sentences? A. Affirmative, declarative, simple, active. B. Simple, present, affirmative, active. C. Declarative, positive, present, complex. D. Simple, affirmative, imperative, active. The answer is A. Affirmative, declarative, simple, and active. These are what characterizes kernel sentences. Number 5. What kind of rules produce questions? A. Word formation rules. B. Transformation rules. C. Phrase structure rules. D. Lexical formation rules. The answer is B. Transformation rules. Transformation rules work on kernel sentences and make movements and other changes that produce questions. 6. What kind of rules produce regular past tense? A. Word formation rules. B. Transformation rules. C. Phrase structure rules. D. Lexical formation rules. The answer is A. Word formation rules. These are the ones that indicate what to do to a word in order to produce something. So in the case of a verb, when you add ed, it becomes past tense. In the case of regular verbs. Number 7. What kind of language is English? A. Isolating. B. Agglutinating. C. Synthesizing. D. Localizing. The answer is boy, agglutinating. It's not isolating like Chinese. It's not synthesizing like Spanish. It's not localizing. And it's agglutinating, meaning it adds morphemes together, but the morphemes can be identified. Number 8. What kind of language is English in terms of ergativity? A. Nominative accusative. B. Ergative absolutive. C. Locative reflexive. D. Genitive constructive. The answer is A. Nominative accusative. The idea is The form of the subject of an intransitive sentence is similar to the subject of a transitive sentence. They have the same marking. So that's the case with English. Number 9, which of the following languages is a relative of English? A. Hungarian, B. Yiddish, C. Navajo, D. Hindi. English is an Indo-European language, which includes the languages in Europe and in India. So the answer is Hindi. It's closely related to English compared to A, B, and C. Hungarian is a language isolate compared to other European languages. So it's not related to other European languages. Yiddish is a Semitic language. Navajo is Native American. Number 10. What kind of word order does English follow? A. VSO, B. SVO, C. OSV, D. VOS. The answer is boy, SVO. You start with the subject, then a verb, then the object. 11. How does English mark case? A. Position, B. Inflection, C. Particles, D. Agreement. The answer is position. The position shows us which is the subject, which is the object or indirect object. Let's now talk about semantics. Identify the kind of relationship in the following by writing on the blanks the corresponding letter of the correct answer. A. Polysemy, B. Homonymy, C. Homographs, D. Homophony, E. Synecdoche, F. Metonymy, G. Hyponym, hypernym, H. Synonymy. Number 1. A friend offered me a 50-inch HD ready television the other day for only 5,000 pesos. It was in perfect working order apart from the broken volume control. I thought for that price you can't turn it down. The answer is number 1, B, homonymy. It has to do with turn it down. Turn it down could mean reject, or turn it down could mean physically lower the volume because the volume is broken. Number 2, a man stops to get directions. What's the quickest way from here to the airport? Are you walking or driving? Driving. That's definitely the quickest way. So the answer here is also B, homonymy. Way could mean manner. It could also mean direction. So these are homonyms. Number 3. Why does Santa go down the chimney on Christmas Eve? Because it suits him. The word suit could be S-O-O-T, meaning have grime, or it actually sounds like S-U-I-T, meaning it's appropriate for him. So this is an example of the homophony. Written the same way, written differently, pronounced the same way, different meaning. Number 4, several new hikers got sore feet even before they passed the foot of the mountain. Number 4 is A, polysemy. Foot of the hiker and foot of the mountain, they're not the same, but they are closely related. So that's polysemy. Number 5, they bought some furniture, including tables. The answer is G, hyponym, hypernym. Table is the hyponym, furniture is the hypernym. Number 6, the dove dove down to eat the popcorn. So dove and dove, they're written the same way, pronounced differently. This is what we call homographs. Number 7, the lawyer wants to check each and every word in the document. Each and every shows H, synonymy. Number 8, did you hear about the magician who practiced his cutting a lady in half trick on his family members? He had a brother and two half-sisters. For number 8, it's A, polysemy, because half-sister could mean physically half or relationally half because only one parent out of two are biologically related to them. Number 9, I would like to ask for her hand in marriage. Hand apart represents the whole person. That is E, synecdoche. Number 10, three old guys are out walking. First one says, windy, isn't it? Second one says, no, it's Thursday. Third one says, so am I. Let's go get a beer. So for them, they sound the same. So the answer is D, homophony. Number 11, George W. Bush bombed Afghanistan. Was it really George W. Bush? Not really. It's the army controlled by George W. Bush. The close relationship between George W. Bush and the army is an example of metonymy. So it's F, metonymy. Number 12, I was driving to school when a taxi hit me. Well, this one is an example of F, metonymy also, because the taxi didn't really hit the person. The taxi hit the car that the person was driving. So there's a close relationship between the person and the car because the person is riding the car. 13, the construction worker was manipulating the crane when he saw the crane flying around. The answer is B, homophony. You have crane, mechanical crane, and animal crane. Well, if you think of the shape of the crane and the shape of the animal crane's leg, then maybe you could think of it as polysemy. Although for me, it's already forgotten. So my take is homophony. 14. A fisherman threw his line over a line of sunbathers. You have line there, a physical line and a line of sunbathers. This is a polysemy because line, fishing line, and line of sunbathers, they are both elongated. So they're not the same, they don't mean the same similarly, but they're still close. Let's try number 15 to 18. What kind of antonyms are shown in the following? 15, on and off. That is what we call a non-gradable antonym because they're either or. There are no degrees. That's why they're non-gradable. 16, lenient and strict. That's an example of gradable antonym because there are degrees. You can say very lenient and very strict. 17, fix and break is an example of reversive antonyms. They are reverse actions. Number 18, plaintiff and defendant. These are conversive antonyms. The existence of one implies the existence of the other. Number 19. In the following definition, which is the genus and differentiate? A guitar is a musical instrument with 6 strings strummed or plucked to produce music. A, genus guitar, differentiate to produce music. B, genus 6 strings strummed or plucked to produce music, differentiate guitar. C, genus musical instrument, differentiate 6 strings strummed or plucked to produce music. D, genus guitar, differentiate musical instrument. The answer is C, genus musical instrument. That is the general class to which the guitar belongs. But then you need to differentiate it from other members of the same class. So you have a differentiate 6 strings strummed or plucked to produce music. So the answer is C. Finally, let's talk about pragmatics. Number 1, which of the following is a speech act? A, I teach English with favor. B. I accept your proposal. C. We believe in God. D. We look for another room. Now, a speech act is basically an act that is done by simply saying it. So the correct answer is B. I accept your proposal. By just saying it, you're already accepting the proposal. Given the rhetorical questions below, write the corresponding letter of the correct purpose. A. To inform, declarative. B. To introduce a new topic. C. To emphasize a fact that is obviously true. D. To express strong emotion. E. To enumerate options. F. To scold. G. To influence behavior or command. From Mamma Mia by ABBA, besides expressing strong emotion, Mamma Mia, here I go again, my, how can I resist you? Mamma Mia, does it show again, my, just how much I've missed you. So my, how can I resist you is C, to emphasize a fact that is obviously true. The singer is saying, I cannot resist you. Number 2, James chapter 4, 13 to 14. Are any of you suffering hardships? You should pray. Are any of you happy? You should sing praises. Are any of you sick? You should call for the elders of the church to come and pray over you, anointing you with oil in the name of the Lord. So for number 2, it's E, to enumerate options. It's like saying, if you are suffering hardships, pray. If you are happy, sing praises. Number 3, I'll Never Fall in Love Again by the Carpenters. What do you get when you fall in love? You get enough tears to fill an ocean. That's what you get for your devotion. I'll never fall in love again. I'll never fall in love again. Now, because this is right at the start, it could be B, to introduce a new topic. Or if somebody is directing this to another person, this could be to scold. But I would go for B, to introduce a new topic. Number 4, Everlasting Love by The Company. I was scared to admit I cared for someone because my heart would always break. But things have changed today. Darling, did you know that something happened to us right before the future and right after the past? Did you smile when you found out what a wonderful thing it was? We found an everlasting love. For number 4, it could be D, to express strong emotion, or it could be C, to emphasize a fact that is obviously true. I would go more on C, to emphasize a fact that is obviously true. Number 5, James chapter 2, 1 to 7. My brothers, as believers in our glorious Lord Jesus Christ, don't show favoritism. Suppose a man comes into your meeting wearing a gold ring and fine clothes, and a poor man in shabby clothes also comes in. If you show special attention to the man wearing fine clothes and say, here's a good seat for you, but say to the poor man, you stand there or sit on the floor by my feet, have you not discriminated among yourselves and become judges with evil thoughts? Number 5, that is to scold. So the apostle James, in the book of James, is scolding people for being partial. Number 6, Sonnet 18 by William Shakespeare. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and oft is his gold complexion dimmed, and every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade. So, shall I compare thee to a summer's day? That could be to introduce a new topic, but it's much better to say, to emphasize a fact that is obviously true. Letter C. You're saying here that you are so much better than a summer's day. By the way, in England, summer's days are very rare because it's very cold there. So a summer's day is really a really awesome day. But William Shakespeare is saying to the person he's talking to, you're so much better than a summer's day. You're greater than a summer's day. So it's to emphasize a fact that is obviously true. Romans 6:35, who shall separate us from the love of Christ? Shall trouble or hardship or persecution or famine or nakedness or danger or sword? So number 7 is to emphasize a fact that is obviously true. It's saying nothing can separate us from the love of Christ. Number 8, did you know that rubbing two sticks together can produce fire? So the purpose of that is A, to inform. Functionally, it is a declarative. You're telling somebody something. Number 9, can you close the door? Now here you are trying to influence behavior. G. Finally, number 10, Matthew 6:28-34, Jesus is saying, and why do you worry about clothes? See how the lilies of the field grow. They do not labor or spin. Yet I tell you that not even Solomon in all his splendor was dressed like one of these. If that is how God clothes the grass of the field, which is here today and gone and tomorrow is thrown into the fire, will he not much more clothe you, O you of little faith? So, and why do you worry about clothes? Primarily is about scolding people. So Jesus Christ was scolding people for their lack of faith. F, to scold. Thank you very much for listening. We have other materials for you to view. Thank you very much.